Hi, everyone. Good evening. Good evening.
Good
So,
evening.
my name is Monique Reynolds, immigration lawyer. I have my sister in the flesh. She's with us this evening. This is the first time that we're actually doing a live stream together, and I'm so excited. So, my sister, again, she's with us. Her name is attorney Tisha Salkey. We're here to discuss know your rights with the current immigration climate. There's so much uncertainty out there. So we just want to be a resource, provide valuable information on some of the major issues that's going on right now. This is a brief live. We just decided to come on real quickly for you. So while we're here for the next several minutes, if you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat for us and we'll try to address. Um, However, we're going to jump right on in. We're going to be discussing know your rights and other issues that are going on. So let's see who wants to go first. Tisha, we have pre-selected questions that we want to provide you information on.
Okay, so what should I do if I'm stopped by ICE?
Okay, so that's a really good question. If you find yourself being stopped by ICE, if you're at home and ICE comes to your door, just know that you don't have to actually open the door unless they have a search warrant that's signed by a judge and also correctly spells out your name and your address. So if they have a warrant, and it's not signed by a judge or it's not an actual search warrant, then you don't have to open the door. How are you going to know, what the document that they have? Well, if they have a document, how are you going to know what it is? Ask them if they can slide it under the door. Other than that, you don't have to open the door, right? Now, if you get stopped in public or if they come to your job and they pull you to the side or you're detained, just know that you do have rights. You have the right to remain silent, and let them know that you do not have to speak. Also, you want to keep in mind, do not give false information. Don't give a false name. Don't lie about your status. Don't give false documents. That's really important because that could hurt any future immigration options that you may have. So just keep that in mind. Now, I'm going to ask Tisha a question. What is ICE? And,
Okay,
huh?
sorry, I was going to answer. I didn't know you were going to continue.
Oh, okay, okay,
I'm
go ahead.
excited, I
Well,
guess.
let me finish the question. It's two parts. What is ICE and what can they do? What power does ICE have?
Okay, so I think that's a great question because a lot of people, they know from the media and from what they see that what ICE is basically doing, but they don't know the extent of their power or actually what they are in general. So ICE is basically a federal law enforcement agency that operates under the Department of Homeland Security. So their powers are pretty much vast. They're technically immigration enforcement that they can investigate, they can detain, they can work with other law enforcement agencies to carry out their tasks. And they also work with like customs, investigating customs violations, human trafficking, things of that nature. But their powers are not unlimited. As Monique said, they do have to follow the Constitution, the constitutional protections, and they must follow the law. So, like Monique said, they must get warrants if they would like to search your house, and you are protected against unreasonable search and seizure under the Constitution. So they must follow those rights that you do have. And I'll go on. I'm going to probably go on a little bit about this more later, but they do have to follow they used to have to follow the sanctuary laws, which was, you can't detain or you cannot do raids in certain places. Certain places were protected, which normally was like the hospitals, schools. Leaving out one, hospitals, schools. If I remember it later, I'll say it. There's like three, but that's kind of changed as of late. But that historically that used to be a restriction as well.
Okay, perfect, perfect. And I just want to say thank you so much, those who are tuning in. I see that we do have a few viewers with us, and we're both immigration lawyers, and we're basically discussing some of the immigration issues and also things that you need to keep in mind to keep yourself safe so you can make the proper decisions. Okay.
I just remembered hospitals, schools, and church.
Okay.
Yes, but now that has changed as of late with the new administration. So they're trying to take away those sanctuary protections. So just keep that in mind.
Right. And also, like every day, we're seeing like new changes, new policies coming out um, that further limits people's protection, and that makes people like more susceptible to being, getting detained or getting stopped by ICE. So just remember that, because also, if there's a way that you might be able to get legal status, or if you know of family members or friends that can actually get legal status, they definitely need to seek the help of an attorney now and not wait, because it might become more and more likely that more people are susceptible to being stopped, not just people with criminal history. Um, it just seems like anybody at this point that may not have status, is just not safe in today's climate, right? So you definitely want to do whatever you can to find out what your immigration options might be. And you might be surprised. There might actually be a way for you, but you won't really know until you contact an immigration attorney. All right. Um, all right. So next question, Tisha, what do you have for me?
Okay, so the next question is, should I travel?
Okay, so whether or not you should travel depends on who the subject is. So, if you are a green card holder that have criminal history, even if it was something that happened like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 5 years ago, it doesn't matter. We've seen people who had a green card, they had criminal history, but it may not have been a big deal. They may not even have, gone to jail for it. They may have gotten off by paying a fine or being on probation. And then all of a sudden they travel internationally, then coming back into the US, they're stopped, their green card is revoked, and now they've landed in removal proceedings where they face deportation. So, under the current administration, you're more susceptible to being stopped by Border Patrol coming back into the country. Now, going out of the country is not a big deal, but it's when you want to come in. And you can be a frequent traveler, and it can just be that one time that you're stopped. So, we would say for right now, if you have criminal history, no matter how major or minor, relax on the traveling. Um, However, now as it pertains to those with a pending immigration case, right? So if you have a pending immigration case and you're waiting to find out if your case is approved or not, and you also have advanced parole, now advanced parole gives you permission to travel. um, you don't want to travel right now because advanced parole, even, if again you have an approved advanced parole, it's not a 100% protection. It could just be that one time that you decide to travel on advanced parole and then you're not admitted into the US. Um, Again, when you have advanced parole, it's up to the discretion of Border Patrol whether or not they want to let you back into the country. So you can have an approved advanced parole and be turned away from coming back into the US. So you definitely want to keep that in mind. Now, in terms of traveling domestically, that means traveling state to state within the US. You still want to be careful with that too, only because of if you're going to go through maybe a checkpoint, like if you're traveling by bus, You can be stopped at random. So the way that things are kind of heightened right now with, all of the ICE raids going on, you definitely need to relax on the traveling. Um, Now let's see. The last question we have is for Tisha. Now, Tisha, it's just the two of us, right? And for those just tuning in, this is my sister, y'all. I speak to her maybe like 10 times a day. So this is our first time actually doing a live stream. Well, for us together, we did one earlier this week with another organization. But this is my girl right here. And it's so wonderful being able to chat about immigration. Like, we're both immigration attorneys, and we both want to help our clients. Our parents are from Jamaica, so we understand firsthand. And so we just want to be a resource and be able to help you all, make the right decisions and know what's going on. So, with that said, Tisha, can you explain the reality of mass deportation? Like, what does that mean?
Okay, yes. So I know in the news you've seen a lot about mass deportation. That's one of the main topics, and also that was one of the main running points for the current administration. So it's been in the news a lot. So the reality of that is, as we have it, because what we thought before, we were kind of going based on when this administration was in office in the past. And truly and honestly, between President Trump's administration, his past administration, and President Biden's administration, the deportation numbers were practically the same. So that's kind of what we were expecting, even though that was a major running point. However, we have seen, of course, there has been an increase in numbers and also an increase in policies and executive orders put in place. So I'm going to talk about what's the major changes, which are expedited removal. So in the past, in the past, removal in general used to take some time. The legal process used to take some time, and expedited removal is basically pushed within 100 miles of the border. So now that has changed, where expedited removal is pushed throughout the United States. So it doesn't matter if you live far away from the border, close to the border, middle America. It's a reality as of right now. So that's why we keep on telling our clients, make sure that you have our numbers on you at all times. Make sure that you have a plan put in place. Make sure that you tell your family members about your plan. Give them our number. So if worst comes to worst, you have something put in place where you could get out as soon as possible if it comes to that, or you have a proper recourse to take. Also, there's a push for the expansion of ICE and their powers as well. So as I said earlier, the elimination of the sanctuary places, which was the church, the schools, and I always forget the third one: church, schools, and
Hospitals.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm like using my fingers. I'm like,
like counting. And then also they're also trying to expand the powers of actual regular law enforcement, so they have the same powers that ICE has. So that's not being put in place right now, but I'm just bringing it up because it is a talking point. So just look out for that. And then I know that, as Monique said, we did talk to another group earlier this week, and it was student athletes from the Caribbean, and they basically wanted to know about what should they look out for, and their options post grad. So what we kind of told them in relation to what I'm talking about right now is also you have to basically know what's going on with your current visa, and you have to be up to date. And the way to do so, if you don't have an attorney, or you want to, we tell everybody, even if they're our clients, to kind of ways for them to keep up to date themselves and the ways that they should do their own research.
yes.
And that way is to go to uscis.gov, type in their visa, whatever benefit that they are seeking at the top in the search bar, and then you will see the last time that has been updated. So that's a way that we also keep up to date. I know that Monique also brought up AILA, which is normally for immigration attorneys, but they do provide information to the public that is valid information, trusted information. So you could do that as well.
Yes. And we also send out a newsletter where we sent out a newsletter just a few days ago explaining like know your rights. And so we will continue to do that. So please use us as a resource if you want to know what's going on. In terms of what should you, I'm sorry, I kind of want to address Jay, the analyst. You basically said that you'll run if ICE comes. Do not run. um, if you have to just say, you wish to not speak, you want to exercise your right to remain silent, but please don't run. You can ask to speak with your attorney. And just remember our number. It's at the bottom of the screen, 1-833-810-1234. And just keep your documentation on you, or even a copy of it. If you have a pending case, you don't actually have a green card or a work permit, then keep your I-797 receipt notice on you to show that you have a pending case, and make sure your family members also have a copy of all of your documents. So we just wanted to come on really quickly to just give you some information that you can take with you. We didn't want to be long-winded. And I see that we don't have any more comments or no questions. So we just want to leave you with that. And just, if you don't know, what your options are, please give our office a call, 1-833-810-1234. We have offices in Atlanta, Georgia, and Kissimmee, Florida. The Kissimmee office is near Orlando. It's in Central Florida. Tisha is at the Kissimmee office and I'm at the Atlanta office. We can represent you no matter where you reside, all over the US and internationally as well. If you do want to call the Kissimmee office directly, Tisha, you want to share your number? Uh-oh. We can't hear you. Did I do that? Oh no. Hold on. You're muted. Yeah, can you unmute, Tisha? You can't hear you. Okay, so sorry, guys. So what we'll do, we'll put the number for the Kissimmee office in the comments. And if you want to call the Kissimmee office directly, you can do so, or you can call our general number, 833-810-1234. Thank you so much for being here with us. It was a pleasure, and we will do more of these where we're together and able to share information. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tisha, thanks, girl. I'll call you later.